On today's episode, r/EntitledParents, where OP has an update on the parents that allowed his siblings to steal his Switch. Our next Reddit post is by FogLamp03. I got the cops called on my mom for child abandonment, and I kicked my dad in the macaroons. Wow, I can't believe I forgot about this account for nearly a year, but I was watching Reddit videos online and randomly saw my original post, and I realized I'd totally forgotten to make an update. So, I've come back to give one. There will be police and some mild brawling towards the end. I don't know if that qualifies as a trigger warning, but I just figured I'd mention it. As some know, I previously posted about my parents refusing to give back my Nintendo Switch when one of my siblings stole it. And many commenters had a lot to say about the stuff my parents were doing. And to just call the police or Child Protective Services if my parents ever dumped my youngest siblings off of my door without asking again. Well, I waited and waited, but there was no contact between us for around 3 months since the last time my mom called and I refused to watch my siblings without being paid. Then, it finally happened. My parents called me all of a sudden wanting me to babysit, and they acted like the prior incident with the Switch never happened. I told them I was not going to babysit unless they paid me, and it would have to be a day that I had off work. My schedule had also shifted, so I no longer had Saturdays off. I actually asked my boss for that since Saturdays were the day they asked me to babysit the most. Plus, picking up an extra shift was better for me financially. My dad got furious as usual and said that I needed to man up and help out. So I pointed out that he needs to stop acting like he has control over me. And technically, I am manning up for myself and my own life, like he always claimed that he did at my age. Yet, he always worked Saturdays and put a ton of responsibilities on me. So he could screw off as far as I was concerned. He started yelling violently into the phone, and my mom took it away from him. I said I could only babysit on Sundays because that's my only day off. And I would only do it if they paid me $30 and included pre-packed lunches, dinners, and snacks for my siblings, because I wasn't going to waste my money providing food for them. That's not my job. And if they took anything from me, like when my Switch was stolen last time, I would get the police involved to get it back. I saved the receipt when I bought it and documented the serial number so I'd have no problem proving to the police that it was mine. My mom's B mode kicked in and she started swearing like a sailor that just broke his tooth at me. I let her have her rant while pretty much ignoring the phone until she realized I wasn't responding and started demanding I say something. So I said that she and Dad had my conditions, Sundays only, $30, and prepackaged food, or they could screw off. There was a moment of silence on the line, and then my mom went off on me again and said that my younger siblings that are 14 and 15 had to step up to help because I wasn't helping anymore, and they needed a break. I laughed and said, "Oh, like how you guys gave me breaks? Like, never?" My mom tried to say that was different, and it was because I was the oldest child. I said that it wasn't different. They parentified me, and I lost out on a bunch of my childhood because of it. And now I'm living my own life without them. And they are hypocrites to act like I should step up again when I'm no longer living there and they have 2 teenagers in the house that can do everything I used to do. My mom shifted into victim mode and started saying that my teenage siblings were rebelling and not listening to them. I said their complaining and moaning wasn't my problem. They need to figure out alternative childcare. I'm too busy with having a life. My dad got back on the phone and started yelling at me some more. I just laughed at him and said he was just blowing hot air, and that he was talking but not really saying anything. My mom took the phone back and pleaded with me one more time. I reiterated, Sundays only and with prepackaged food and $30. And I won't hesitate to call the police if any threats are made or any of my stuff gets stolen. I heard my parents start loudly yelling back and forth at each other over what to do. So I said they can just work it out and get back to me later. Then I hung up. It was right back to radio silence for a little while. Then, one Saturday morning, a few weeks later, I was getting ready for work when I heard a sudden loud and fast knock at the door. The kids were, there doing it with both hands. My mom's done that for years as her knocking trademark to let me know she was there. And she knows I know that sound very well. And the knocking was followed by what sounded like someone loudly running down the corridor. I listened through the door and could hear my two youngest siblings bickering with each other and tapping on the door themselves. My mother just left them outside the door and ran. But because of all the warnings I got in my last post, I had a simple plan for this. I just opened my window, climbed out, and simply walked away. My apartment is in the ground level, all the way in the back of the building, and I can just climb out the window I have there easily by just pulling the screen out. I called one of my neighbors that lives a few doors down. She's a sweet old lady that likes kids. I gave her the rundown. She's known about my situation with my narcissistic parents for a while now and called the police for me to tell them that there were 2 kids left abandoned in the hallway after my mother pounded on a door and took off. Suffice to say, the police came and picked up my siblings. My parents called me later and were furious. I pretended to be clueless and asked what they were so mad about. My mom fully admitted she left my 2 youngest siblings at my door for me to babysit and ran. I asked if she just left them there without anyone answering the door, because I was already out since I had to work Saturdays. My mom just got really quiet for a few seconds, then yelled, "How the hell was I supposed to know that?" I countered that this was all her fault, and she literally abandoned her kids at my door in hopes that maybe I was home on a day I already told her several times that I worked. Like she was trying to force me to skip a shift by trying to give me no choice but to watch them. She started making excuses, but I told her what she did was inexcusable and immature. She ended up crying, and I just let that go on for a while before asking if she was done yet. She went back into B mode and yelled at me the police were charging her with child abandonment. I said that wasn't really my fault since she left the kids in the hall. Then I said I would have called the police on her as well if I was home and she refused to come back for the kids because I told them before that I work Saturdays now. So I refused to be trapped into babysitting anymore. The rest of the call was some more pointless bickering on her end and didn't really go anywhere. My mom somehow ended up getting off with just a slap on the wrist and a fine because she somehow convinced the cops that she honestly thought I was home and would babysit, or so my next sibling said when he texted me. I don't know how much the fine was, but the fact that she had to pay one should make her think twice about just leaving the kids at my door and running off again. My dad wasn't charged as well because he was at work and he also claimed that he was unaware of her intent to leave my siblings at my door. I was told he was actually pissed at my mom for doing that. The pot and kettle situation this was had me laughing so hard. But I guess I have to give credit to my old man. He'd never have done what my mom did. Either way, that left my mom with a police record. That's a first strike in the eyes of the law, I think. After that, things really boiled over on Thanksgiving. My parents invited me over, and I was fully expecting it to be some sort of trap. And it was. At dinner, my dad just sat at the table smoking a cigarette and acting like he was in charge. He had my mom sit me down and then said enough was enough and he was ending this farce. He told me I needed to move back home and pay rent to help with mortgage and bills, as well as help parent my siblings because they don't have time to themselves anymore and the fine my mom had to pay hit their finances hard. I just said no, plain and simple, and I kept that up no matter how much they tried to order me. He ended up getting so angry that he actually attacked me. He's not a small man. I, thankfully, am not either, and I'd been hitting the gym for a few months and learned some amateur fighting. I had my steel-toed boots on as well. So, I gave him a swift kick in the nads when he came at me, then punched him hard enough in the face that he was down on the floor in an instant. He landed with quite a thud and even threw up because of the pain while clutching his goodie bag. Then, I told my parents that I had my phone recording in my pocket the whole time, and I could easily prove he attacked me first. My dad told me to get out of his house and never come back. I obliged, but not before taking a turkey leg off the platter and riding home with it to eat. Since then, only my siblings have called or texted me. They said that I'd walked out of the house like a boss, and there is now a running joke in the house about Dad's poor balls. I spent Christmas with a friend's family, and I've got a standing invite to come back for other holidays. Christ, OP, I can't believe you're still going through this. I actually saw the same video where a guy was reading your story about the Nintendo Switch. I can't believe there's an update, but I'm so happy there is. I mean, I guess I'm not happy there is because that still means your parents are terrible, but I'm glad you're standing up for yourself. Your mom and dad have some serious issues that they really need to resolve. You are not free childcare. Even $30 to babysit for a whole day is not a lot. Your conditions are not a lot. The fact that they can't simply abide by those easy conditions is also troubling. How hard is it to just plan ahead and give you a heads up? That's really all you're asking. Plan ahead, pack them some food, and pay you for your service. You're not asking a lot at all, and the fact that they can't help you out is ridiculous. If they really needed your help, they would find a way to get help. Our next Reddit story is by Razaquit. We have a not-so-small vegetable garden in the backyard of my family's home. Me and my mom are the gardeners, and we grow a bunch of zucchini, snap peas, herbs, broccoli, carrots, tomatoes, and even grapes with the occasional other vegetables, radish, bell peppers, and more. One day, I hear something outside my window, which is right above the largest planter box in our garden. I look outside and see two kids from the neighborhood picking vegetables from the planter box. I run out and see the two of them have their arms full of zucchini and carrots and even some tomatoes. I ask what on earth they are doing, and they said, "We live in the neighborhood." I told them that those are our vegetables and they can't take them. They just said, "It's our neighborhood too. We can have them if we want." And they took off before I could stop them, literally vaulting over a small fence that separates our side of the yard from our neighbor's. Different neighbor, not the one stealing. A few days later, I heard something outside my window again, and I look outside and see the kid's mom loading a basket with vegetables from our planter. I again rush out and see that her and her kids are loading baskets with everything they could grab. I watched as the mom grabbed a handful of chives I had been growing and ripped them out, roots and all. My mom must have heard me run out because she came out as well. She yelled, asking what they think they're doing, and the kids just kept picking vegetables, while the mom just turned annoyed. "It's everyone's neighborhood, and we need the food," she said, still picking from the garden and desecrating many prized chives. My mom told her that if she had just asked, we would have given them some. And, even if it is everyone's neighborhood, it's our garden. She just huffed and left with the kids, and there wasn't anything we could do. Our garden was damaged beyond repair. Our zucchini plants were torn to bits, the peas and tomatoes were trampled and shredded, and our grape bush that we had had for years was broken at the base where one of them had stepped on it. There was no fresh vegetables that year. My mom couldn't make her chocolate chip zucchini bread. A few days later, we installed a lock on the backyard fence, and the neighbors came banging on the door, mad that we installed a lock, preventing them from getting into our garden. My mom just told them to go away, and if she saw them in our backyard again, she would call the cops. Thankfully, we never saw them again, and our garden is happy now, and we managed to bring the grapes back to life. A little while ago, we planted some blueberry bushes in the front yard. Someone keeps stealing them, and half the blueberries are gone each season. We let the kids in the neighborhood eat them, but they only take maybe 8 or 10 a day on the weekends during the summer. There are 10 bushes in total, about 100 to 150 blueberries each. I wonder who's taking 500 blueberries every year. We haven't caught them yet, but everybody knows. That's all for today. Thanks for listening. If you like this content, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel, gave this video a like, and comment down below if there's anything else you want to hear.